Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to begin? Yes? Good stuff, good stuff. Right, so hopefully you know the form. We want this to be interactive, so we will kick into Slido after Eugene has done his presentation. Feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask any questions for clarification or you want to explore something further. So we'll get started. I'll hand over to Eugene to do a 10-minute presentation about Meest.
Okay, John.
It should be on.
Okay. One.
Is it on?
No.
Pick it up. Here.
1, 2, 3. Thanks. So, John, thanks for introduction. Thanks to heroes of the day too. So you are still here. Yeah, welcome. First of all, pardon for my voice condition, just because it was I was so happy to have in-person meeting yesterday a lot, and have unlimited 16-hour discussions and debates. So pardon. So we would like to discuss today cross-border solutions, which are in terms of traffic which is going to European Union and outside. So from the point of view of end user, it's quite simple, so not a big deal, so parcel shipped and delivered. But according to the community which is attended this event, so we all understand it's much more complicated and starts with the processes on a parcel preparation at distribution centers, export, import processing, and the last mile is just one of the components on the parcel way. So last 2 years brought to us was quite productive and brought to us a lot of limitation updates. But on our opinion, Brexit, IOSS updates, VAT updates, UPU regulations, lockdowns, local COVID restrictions, that anyway an opportunity just in case if you know where to look. So I just like to share with you a few aspects of our company activities which forced it to us with a business force and last 2 years. First one, it's a last mile variety and what we have to do with it. Because for today, only in the European Union, more than 100 carriers operating, so already accessible 300,000 pick points and post offices, more than 50,000 automated lockers already installed, and each retailers, we also had discussions with our current partners, so they are trying to be on a wave when must contactless options on delivery or PUDO options must have to be released, and they are all time integrated from one carrier to other one just to be displayed a PUDO in a basket. And what they are facing that they are not on a time on integration, and even if they already are done integration with some of PUDO networks in their baskets, so they are facing that sometimes they need to switch to other one. And in this case, integrated solutions on carriers and PUDO, which already provided by mid service companies, so it's like a help for them to be much more on time on a solution. And when we also discussing with our partners, they just not ready to waste years on integration of different options of delivery. Second topic we were also discussing yesterday with our clients, and with new partners potentially, how to expand their business and make extension in terms of territory. Of course, most of our partners look into Eastern Europe. Some of them already cover those destinations, pay attention to Balkans, to Baltic countries. But we understand, and according to our experience, that more difficult countries, so with more difficult regulations to enter in a cross-border e-commerce, can be more perspective, as they are limited now for a current flow of parcels going to those countries. And just for our understanding, so we have solutions and deliver to more or less complicated countries like Moldova, Belarus, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. That was an opening to our clients, that's options on delivery and how e-commerce growing each year, not like 15-20%, common conditions, but it could be like a city, 40-50%, depending on the country. Of course, when our partners facing new difficult countries with limited engines, so they are facing as well a new topics they have to cover. It's a custom clearance, is a conditions of import, is it a thresholds which are known, unknown, quite different in different countries. And that's a question for them if they are ready to, again, to set up such process on their side in their companies, or they are ready to delegate to companies which are able to cover all these topics in a one single system. What I see, pardon, so that's probably an old version of my presentation, but anyway, let's continue. What kind of services and how Meest can help to our partners is to design new solutions on demand. Even if a destination country is not yet covered with our current solutions, we are ready to investigate my researches and combine different components of cross-border solutions into one single end-to-end option. So starting with a fulfillment preparation in different countries, parcel preparation, exporting from different countries, going then with line haul connections. So we are operating with railroads from China. We are doing line haul management by railroads, by roads, ground connection, air connection. So we propose support to our partners which are going to Europe with IOSS aspects. If necessary, we provide IOSS intermediary service as well, IOSS reporting. So, of course, on a last mile, we're able to provide not only home delivery, but include options with different options on the carriers. Mostly we are dealing with 2-3 local heroes in each country, which can cover most of services in those countries. And of course, return process is well necessary in case of some of our requests and from our clients. And we are ready to set up and establish PO boxes, check on returns in different countries, and of course, transportation of returns to the source country. For today, with one API connector from Meest International, so we're able to provide access to more than 40 countries, operating with 60 carriers. So already integrated 92,000 pick points and lockers into our system. And that's not the end of the story, because next year we are going to reach a number of 200,000 pick points integrated in one system. And we are operating with 16 customs hubs, 12 cross hubs which are in China, Europe, and United States. So we are operating with three postal ETO and AMPC in our infrastructure, which can help and provide postal solutions if needed. Of course, so we have in our infrastructure 3 own last mile, which operating in Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan. So with our 30 years experience in logistics, the best benefit from our side that we can propose, it's not only infrastructure, but an IT solution as well. So key takeaways that you can take from this session, short one, that one point of integration is much easier to operate with a variety of last miles, pick points, a variety of export and import processing in different countries. There is no more question if out-of-home delivery to PUDO and lockers will be growing. That's a must-have options in the next periods. And of course, you have to operate with the right solution on a carrier delivery in different countries. So if you're not sure or you have specific requests, so we can design it from the scratch, starting the processing from the peak point of distribution center to the end solution and delivery at the delivery country. How do you think, John?
Okay, that's
Be on time?
Yeah. We've got plenty of time. Don't worry. Please, Eugene, take a seat. So, before we switch to Slido, guys, can you just write Slido up so everybody who hasn't got it, you just get your phones out, go to the Slido.com and enter the reference number there, and that'll trigger on your phones the survey. But before we go to that, can I just ask you, so essentially, in one sentence, what Meest has done is you've gone out and assembled best-in-class partners, whether it's Last Mile Postal Network or Pudo Network or parcel delivery companies, and you offer it a single API connectivity to offer international shipments anywhere in the world.
Actually, John, that was almost done with your site, but let me repeat that. The biggest benefit of our group and our service that we combining operational infrastructure and experience on 30 years of doing cross-border e-commerce with an e-commerce platform that connect to a different variety of options on delivery and export-import procedures.
Okay, fantastic. Right, have you all connected to Slido? Right, brilliant. Have you answered the first question? No, because you haven't been told the first question. Can we launch the first question? Eugene, do you want to step down? Because if you look at that screen there, I'll look over here. So, that's the first question. So, I think you get the chance to have multiple choices. So, what challenges do you face with cross-border e-commerce? So rank, I think you're top 3. And in the top right-hand corner, it does a count about how many of you have participated. So at the moment, there's just one person. Okay, so we've got 7. Okay, right, so 12 so far. So it looks like cross-border logistics and cross-border returns. So can I have a brave volunteer who's flagged that to just expand a little bit on what's the issue, what's the challenge, what's the headache you've got with that right now? Doing the maths, there's at least 12 of you who've taken that. Go on, go sir, yeah. So just say who you are and your business, and then...
Hi, good morning. I'm Martin, Unilever Benelux. Our portfolios in terms of prices, not very high exclusive. So cost of returns is a big impact on margin. So yeah, that's something we're struggling with.
And what sort of percentage of your sales are returned?
Let's say 2-3%.
2-3%, so pretty low.
You're lucky.
That's pretty low.
But we are just starting and exploring, so it could be changing in the future. Hopefully not, but...
And what's the typical basket size for you?
20 euros.
20 euros, okay. Okay.
Something like that.
So your distribution costs need to be really low, otherwise you've got
Exactly.
no profit at all. Okay. Anybody else want to make a comment on that? Or their own situation? Yeah, the gentleman in the back.
Yeah, I can do. My name is Oliver. I'm from Lavario.
Okay, what's Lavario do?
We provide e-commerce business, 3 shops we owned.
Okay.
For party decoration, dirndl and costumes.
Okay.
And especially with the dirndls, we have the problem with the returns, with the duty. So when we get back from America, because we shipped all from Germany, and we get it back, so it's a big hassle to return it, or especially in Europe with the Schweiz.
Can I ask you, checkout, is it delivery duty paid or unpaid?
It is paid.
It's paid at checkout.
Yeah.
So then when they return it, you've got to refund the duty, and is that where the problem is?
No, it's the physical return to Germany. from America or from Switzerland.
Okay.
So, and also with the logistics, it's the delivery time, because when we do all from Germany to Spain, France, America, it's a big trouble for us to get it maybe in 5 days to there.
Right, okay. Do you want to comment, Eugene?
So thanks. Actually, that's really returns. That's a problem that face our partners, and you're really lucky with the 2% returns, because in the case of fashion, it's and if it's unpaid, have to be paid on cash on delivery, so it's gain up to 20-25%, and if it's a shoes, so it's up to even 35%, and that really could be a complicated process and very cost-effective in terms of cross-border. If you are shipping, for example, from United Kingdom to Kazakhstan, from Spain to Ukraine, for example. So, but anyway, on our side, we managed to establish a system which can provide easy setup of returns offices in different countries. And we can manage and operate with our solutions on in-house system which are provided by our partners and on our own system as well. So it depends on the situation. So of course, mostly our partners prefer to use their own system to check, make validation, because especially in terms of cross-border, it's quite important not to wait till items will be returned back in 10-15 days to make refunds.
Sure.
Of course, it's very important to make check and validation right on a return on a local warehouse and provide refunds like on the next day. Even they are still abroad, not arrived back to original warehouse.
So in the scenario there where it's delivery duty paid at purchase, right, and it's returned, you then refund the customer straight away. How long does it take to recover the tax and duties from the customs authorities?
This process is quite a bit longer, just because physically...
Does your system do that?
Yeah, just because it have to be physically arrived to the destination country or custom country of clearance,
yeah,
and then process it. So it takes, after transportation, takes approximately 3-7 days, depends again on a frequency, on a project, and how it's complex.
Okay, cool. Right, guys, Slido, could we have the next question launch, please? I'll give you a couple of seconds longer. Okay, 4. I'll wait till we've got to double figures. Okay, it's still edging around there. Okay, so organized data transfer to customs is easily the biggest issue, followed by no registration, IOSS, no registration. Okay. Does anybody want to just tell us an anecdotal story about who voted the 67% on data transfer to customs? Anybody who answered that one? I reckon there's 6 of you. Anybody? No? What's that line from Taken? I shall hunt you down. No? Okay, do you want to comment on that? I guess it's not a surprise to you, yeah?
Yeah, because we are serving traffic to European Union from China on e-commerce, from Russia, from United States. Actually, the situation depends on which hub is used for a custom clearance. Of course, Amsterdam, Dutch, so Netherlands and Belgium are well prepared. So it's much easier to set up data transfer to customs authority. But we have a bad experience with our cases in Poland. So we made a first import in Poland in August, and that was more or less clear for customs authority. But then after 3 weeks, they just stopped whole operation because they was not sure that it works properly, because Polish legal base was not synchronized with the European Union one that was regulating in general in Europe this question. So, and really still in Poland it's not known how to transfer data correctly to a customs authority. But I believe that probably it takes more 2-3 months to set up in this process single in each European Union country.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments on the other stuff? The
ISS registration. Let me say that this process is probably not a difficult one. So, and after, as our company, we also providing ISS intermediary service, and we support our partners if necessary to make ISS registration. So, not a really quite easy process. Actually, more difficult probably it will be to provide monthly reporting on ISS to be sure that all tax and duties really correctly calculated and paid. Okay. That's still an open question because mostly on a traffic coming in July and August, only first reporting was done from different companies.
Okay, that's clear. Guys, can we launch the next Slido question, please? Okay, so number 3. For e-tailers shipping to the EU, based on your experience, which EU gateway was well prepared for IOSS? Now, most of you guys are probably in the EU, right? So it might not be a straightforward question for you, but... It's warm in here. Okay, I'm not sure we're going to get too many answers there, because the one person who answered that...
Oh, actually, it's me, because...
Is it you?
Yeah,
Were you testing it?
But actually, it's connected to the previous one discussion we had. So really, Netherlands is probably the best well-prepared been to this process starting July. So it was just like first day and it works.
You're not saying that because we're here, right?
No, it's really...
On what basis? So you're saying they had the best gateway, the best systems?
So best communication probably between brokers and customs authority to set up this process, because it was discussed in advance, few testings, so cases checked, validation, system upgrades, so collecting different commissions between business and authority. So to understand what can be wrong and what can we fix on a fast way.
Okay, let's kick off the next question, please, guys. PUDO delivery becoming a must-have option to make customers satisfied. In what way your e-shop prefer to add PUDO delivery service shipping to the dozens? So by PUDO, are you including locker boxes in this, or just PUDOs?
And lockers as well.
Yeah, so respond in terms of locker boxes and PUDOs as kind of a combined. So remind me, in your presentation, Eugene, you had, was it over 200,000 PUDOs?
92,000.
92,000 PUDOs and 55,000 locker boxes.
It's about current European Union, so coverage, so that's not with our system, but in general, 300,000 of PUDOs and 50,000 installed lockers already.
And Meest accesses that entire...
Not to all, so let's say we are trying to start with the local heroes, not cross international companies. So it's usually they operate with the biggest amount of PUDO on the local markets.
Okay.
So
how many PUDOs can you access through the Meest solution in Europe?
So IPA connection, so IT setup.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal.
Okay. Right, 2 responses. Okay, so no real surprise there. Single integration with IT outsourcing proposed, one integration connector. Do you want to comment on that?
So mostly it's a usual situation just because business not able to cover a lot of processes of integration in a short time period. So, and there are a lot of companies which are providing here stance options have to be integrated with carriers, but an extra benefit could be to provide integration with PUDO networks and how to display this network in a basket. So it could be in-house map widget or it could be outsourced map widget, but any options. But you have as a retailers to propose your clients options to select in advance PUDO, which is most convenient to them. So PUDO lockers.
Okay. Okay, and from your client point of view, so delivery out of home, PUDOs and locker boxes, are they the preferred option rather than going to post office, or do you count post offices inside the PUDO number?
Just
right. So post offices,
yes.
Yeah, is that part of the PUDO number of 300,000 you mentioned?
No, in our case, we are integrating private companies' lockers into our system, so not our post offices lockers.
So clients have the option to go either to the National Post Office,
or to
PUDO or locker
PUDO
box.
outside.
Okay, good. Can we have the next Slido, please? Okay. Okay. So basically, if you've got a one-stop parcel company that does your deliveries for you cross-border, do you just go with whatever the PUDO choice they have? Okay, give it 2 more seconds. Right, Eugene, do you want to comment on that result? So, can I just ask the one person who said no? Are they brave enough to stick their hand up? Because basically what you're saying is you won't go with the carriers, you look to do it yourself. Who said no? It wasn't you again, was it?
No.
You're not teasing me.
Actually, we know what to do. So in mostly cases, we are glad when retailers, so they know the situation and have to adapt PUDO selection in their basket. But in a case of huge traffic, like from AliExpress, from Wish company, so they mostly delegate this to a carrier, so just to define the nearest PUDO or locker based on a geocoding, like 100 meters, 200 meters, depends on the country and situation on the coverage with the PUDOs. So it's more cost-effective way to them to make delivery of tons of parcels to different countries. So if they are not ready again to implement PUDO selection in a basket.
I've just been told that people online are voting, so Someone out there has put no, so apologies, guys, for accusing you. You live and learn. Okay. Okay, so next question, please. Number 6 out of 8. We've only got 3 more, guys. Hang in there. We can do this. Okay, do you have an expansion program or strategy to enter new countries with your eShop? Okay. Is there anybody in the room who has said yes to that? They've got a plan, they want to expand and go into new markets. I'm curious if you are in the room, just to tell us, how do you do it? Do you start with finding delivery partners? Do you start with exploring the market? Do you go with, how do you do it? Is anybody in the room who answered that? Or
it's a top secret.
It's you. Brilliant, sir. Thank you. Paul from Lucy Lockett.
Lucy Lockett.
First of all, explain what Lucy Lockett is.
Is this on?
It should be on.
Yeah. It's a toy business.
Yeah.
So our toys are anything but fashionable. They're non-tech toys, and they do have universal appeal because I've sold in just about every country that's worth selling in, B2B and B2C, over the last 20, 25 years. My experience of going into new countries is one with a lot of blood on the carpet. I think that would be the same as everybody else. So what do I do? These days I start with sales taxes, because you're dealing with authorities, and the authorities have got many more books of regulations than you can ever understand. So that has to be, now, is always my first question. Where do I stand with that? And I usually don't believe the first person that gives me a straight answer, to make sure I get another answer, so that I've got to go to different people who know what they're doing. And for what it's worth, I'm from the UK. The UK government export guys, I'm fairly wary of the advice I get from them, because they're living in legacy world, they don't do e-com world. So that has to be the first issue. The second issue, yes, is how do we get that product to that country? And right at the moment, we've held back because we've made so many mistakes. We need to sweep up some of the mess from behind us, but we will be going forwards on it. So the logistics then comes into the second stage, and I guess that's why I'm sitting here, to listen to what you've got, to see how that might fit, to reduce some of the pain when we go forwards. The easiest bit in the world, and I tell this to everybody who's so naive, is to go and find yourself. It's not easy to find yourself a decent translating company, but when you found one, that's the really easy piece, is putting your product up there, putting a price on it, and waiting for the orders to come in. It's all the other stuff that's going to mess you up. And I've learned it the hard way over about 15 years, so I'm now very cautious. And you've got to deal with all this stuff that we could euphemistically call crap, but it's only crap when it comes flying at you from the fan because you didn't do the basics up front.
Paul, he's only 23, by the way. I'm just kidding. So that is. So do you love your job, Paul? Can I just give him the microphone back again? So you mentioned that there's blood on the carpet and it is awful. And can you just give us an example? What is the blood on the carpet because of legal red tape and the taxes, etc., or is it because of carrier damage, mismanagement? What's the main issue for you?
I'd actually put another one in front of even the sales taxes. When you're selling toys, it's a bit like cosmetics or anything like that. Every government now in the world wants to have its own regulations, its own testing standards, its own testing marks. So you've got to get that stuff right. And then finding people you can talk to on that, because the carrier guys are not interested. They just want to carry it and earn some money. So I've had some conversations here. I won't identify the country because that identifies precisely the stand of the guys I was talking to. And I asked the same question. and they're sort of answering it, but you know they don't know the answer. And it's very difficult to get a correct answer. And if I put this right down to, and take this back to the Brexit thing, these days, because Britain's outside, you're finding, of course, you can't put UK addresses on EU sold product. Likewise, you cannot put EU addresses on British. And there's a lot of people falling into traps on that. I do sell on Amazon. I've got Amazon screaming at me, I have to have a US address on my US sold product.
Yeah.
We cannot find anybody in the test houses who agrees with Amazon. We can't find anything anywhere that says that when you sell a product in the US that you've got to be contactable through a US address.
Okay.
That a UK address is not good enough. Now what would I do? Because it's a virtual business, I would set up, I'd go to Regis or somebody and get a desk, it's absolute crap again to say I've got an office there, but if they get a letter in, they're going to scan it and email it to me in the UK. But Amazon's insisting that you have that US address on it, and they can't justify it. So you're running into this stuff all over the place of regulations. And then I go back and say the easy piece is to put your product up, write a really nice listing wherever you're writing it, put the price on there and wait for the orders to come in. That's the easy piece. It's everything else now. And we are moving. And this is another thing which I see and I feel, and outside of e-commerce is very, very difficult to explain to people. But governments have now keyed in onto e-commerce that they can actually lay their hands on a lot of detailed information that we've all got to provide in a way that even 2 years ago they hadn't cottoned onto it. So when you mention Poland there not being ready for something, but Poland's very ready for a lot of things that it wants, and it goes in great detail, so does Hungary. See, we're moving into an interesting world where regulatory stuff, the guys are now getting hold of ways of controlling what we do at a level at which they never did it before. And I roll back, say, 15 years ago, if you wanted to take an order from e-com from somewhere, anywhere in the world, so long as you could get the item there, it was so easy back in the old days. And now we're tripped everywhere. Okay, what does it mean? Ultimately, it means one of two things. Well, the first thing it means is, by and large, it will be less easy for the SME to make big progress in e-commerce because the red tape will tie them up. So that necessarily means the big guys, I don't say they get a strength out of this, but if they can cope with it. So blood on the carpet and whether I'm mad is I've got an SME, a very SME, and I still want to do the stuff of the big guys. That's where most e-commerce merchants are. Or they just give up. And let's face it, most of the smaller guys in the UK do not sell into EU now, and most of the smaller guys in EU do not sell into UK because of Brexit. It's too much damn trouble, and unless you can find your way around, it's far too many pounds, euros, dollars, or whatever it is to pay all the fees unless you can get organized.
So you're absolutely right, because with the ISS regulation, large businesses was quite ready to do it and invest in this. But when we are talking about small business, especially like a handmade delivery, so in different countries, so they are not ready to make a registration on ISS just because of extra costs they have to pay for future each country reporting on VAT, and that's not interesting for them anymore. And you mentioned that really to make a delivery of goods, it sometimes have to be regulated by each country legal regulations. And with our experience when we launched expansion of Wildberries, biggest marketplace in Russia, to Europe and United States and Israel, so we also involved each country, each destination, local consultants to be sure that all kind of goods which are placed at an Wildberries marketplace is possible to sell online to different countries without any additional obligations. And a lot of content and a lot of products have been sorted out and blocked on a stage just because Wilders was not ready to provide all necessary certification on our products, food, toys, and others.
Okay. Thank you for that, Paul. Did you feel better now? Got it out?
I felt good anyway. So.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. Well, look, one more question, please. Because we're coming to the end. So if you could launch question 7. Yes, I think you just choose one. Okay, so it's inconclusive. So we've got one person, Middle East, one Africa,
Everywhere.
one for everyone. So no big messages there. Do you want to comment, Eugene?
Some changes on this results. I'd like, yes, actually, Eastern Europe is a next door neighbors to European Union. And in most of mentioned countries here, quite interesting thresholds. So somewhere it's $200, in Ukraine it's 100 euros, in Russia it's quite big one. So and actually that allows to European business to operate with a cross-border and to sell saving on an export here and do not pay tax and duties in destination countries just because of big threshold. And mostly our partners, so even some Russian and Ukrainian companies, they are locating distribution centers to Poland just to use this model on delivery to Ukraine and Russia from European Union, just because of this savings on taxations, on import taxations.
Good stuff. Right. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end. Thanks, Paul, especially. That's brilliant.
Thanks,
Absolutely
Paul.
Priceless. Thank you, guys. And I know it's been a long day, a long couple of days, but I really appreciate your involvement. Thanks, Eugene. I hope you got something from it.
Thanks,
Found it
Paul. Thanks
interesting.
for your assistance.
My pleasure.